So next up on the grow along, we've got a little list for you. We're going to do 3 seeds this week. We're going to do the Nigella, the Clary Sage and the new one, Cynoglossum, because they all need very similar conditions and this warm weather will really help get them off to a flying start. Find all the information for sowing and growing the Nigella, the Clary Sage and the Cynoglossum in your Autumn Jump Starter Handbook, and they are new for 2024. So it is on page number 27. Now the poppies and the cerinthe, I'm not going to start these just yet because it is so warm and they will get off to too good a start. They both grow incredibly quickly into very big plants. So you'll find that if we sow them too fast, too early, or it's too warm, the plants will need putting out in the garden in January when we're not ready to do that. And then you're going to have to try and keep them alive in the greenhouse until the weather's better, and then they'll start to rot, they'll outgrow their space, they'll start to die. It's a nightmare. So we don't want to start these too early. And also, as far as the poppies are concerned, my goodness me, I have been practicing and sowing some every week for a good couple of years just to see the optimum time for sowing. And you probably remember them last year. I did one sowing and the plants, my goodness me, they must have been 10 feet tall. But the poppy seed pods weren't any bigger, so they were just a nightmare to stake. Absolute whopper poppies. Look at these. I think these must be the most pollinator friendly plants that I've ever grown. They're just smothered the whole time in bees. How wonderful. And we don't even mind them pollinating the flowers. We want the flowers to go over because it's the seed pods we want. This poppy just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Is a special variety of Clary Sage. I have tried many varieties over the years and I found that they're not great from an autumn jump start. They start off okay, germinate beautifully, start growing in the trays, all is well. However, as we plunge into deep winter, the cold and the damp gets to them and very slowly they all rot off and die. So if you don't have our seeds, then I would recommend that you hold off until late winter or spring, depending on the variety. However, if you do have our seeds, then we can do an autumn jump start, and then these particular plants will grow to 100 centimetres tall. They will also give us colour really early in the season, just when we need it the most. I really loved growing this Clary Sage last spring. Look at this one, it's got a bit of a pink tinge to it. I like it. I like it. Look at that. Turn it round so that you can see clearly and pour the seeds into my hand. You can see they're not too small, so you can see what you're doing. And I'm just going to sow 1 seed per cell into the seed tray. The germination is very rapid, so if you have any empty cells, any cells that you missed perhaps when you were sowing, It's ever so easy just to go back and pop in another seed. I should probably have to watch this video back and make sure that I didn't miss any when I was chatting to you. There we go. Really easy. I'm starting off with the Clary Sage because I just wanted to show you how quickly these germinate. So this is 3 days since I started them. So you don't want to mix the trays with the Nigella and the Cynoglossum. Don't put everything in the same tray. Keep the Clary Sage separate because it comes up so quickly. And you can see I did sow 2 seeds per cell, but it wasn't necessary because we've got 100% germination. That's what you get with fresh seed. So you can either take out one of the seedlings with your fingers and leave one just to grow on, or you can leave both in to grow on. We'll just have to pot them on, separate them and pot them on a little bit sooner than we would have if there was just 1 seed per cell. So I'll just leave it completely up to you. Just don't put 5 in, for goodness sake, because they are guaranteed to come up. So you don't want to have millions. There we go, that's the seeds all started. Now all 3 have got very delicate root systems and do not like being overwatered. They like the warmth for germination, so I thought this is the reason why it's so ideal to do them this week. They're going to get the perfect germination conditions in your greenhouse. You can start them indoors if you want to, however, watch out particularly for the Clary Sage. Mine germinated in less than 36 hours, so you can easily forget about them and then they can get really leggy. And then we'll let them grow slowly over the winter, being careful that we don't overwater them because they do not like damp conditions. We'll keep the seedlings on the dry side. So that's all 3, the Clary Sage, the Cynoglossum and the Nigella, not overly wet conditions for those ones. My goodness, it is bright today. I had to scuttle out of the greenhouse. It's much too bright in there to talk to you. And my phone will overheat. I've done that so many times. Don't leave your phone in your greenhouse in the sun. It will blow up. Anyway, so your Clary Sage will germinate really, really quickly. The reason that you tend to put more than 1 seed in a cell is because of germination. If they are a bit flaky or a bit erratic with their germination, then you tend to add a couple of seeds. If you're short on space, then 2 seeds is fine because you can leave them for quite a long time. But if you've got a 40 cell tray and you only want 40 plants, you're better off just sowing 1 seed per cell and then leave them to grow on in the tray, and you won't have to do anything to them at all until December, January time. If you sow 2 to a cell, then probably in November we're going to have to start separating, so you bring that time forward. And if you sow more than that, then you're going to have to prick them out almost straight away. So that was specifically for the Clary Sage, and because they germinate so quickly, if you want to, just sow 1 seed per cell, and if in 3 days you've got any empty cells, then you can just go back. Maybe you missed that one, I do that sometimes. You can go back and then put another seed in because they come up so fast. It's only when they've got a really long germination period of about 3 weeks. You don't want to find out in 3 weeks' time that you haven't got all 40 plants, so then that's when you oversow a little bit. But I will tell you which ones are the more patchy or erratic germination, but Clary Sage is certainly not one of them. Nigella, yeah, definitely 2 seeds per cell with that, and maybe the Cynoglossum too. Over here I've got the Clary Sage. You can see Sweet Rocket in the background. Doesn't that look good? Again, a nice empty bed. I've got plants ready to fill that.